For years, we've all been talking about the future of work, like it's some far-off destination. Well, guess what? That future is already in the rearview mirror. The reality is here right now. The silicon workforce isn't on its way. It's already clocked in and ready to go.
Look, this isn't speculation anymore. It's not a forecast. The tipping point has come and gone. What used to be a bunch of little experiments and pilot programs has exploded into full-blown, enterprise-wide deployments. This is the here and now. So the question isn't, when is this going to happen? The real question is, what are you doing about it today?
All right, so let's get right into it. We need to really understand why this is no longer a prediction, but a dispatch from the front lines of business.
What we are literally watching is the birth of a whole new economic paradigm. You have to stop thinking about AI as just a set of tools. We have officially entered the global agent economy. It's an entire ecosystem built on autonomous agents and digital workers, and they are completely remaking how companies operate, compete, and even exist.
So who exactly is showing up to work alongside you in this new economy? Let's go ahead and meet the new members of the team.
Now, these are not the simple bots or macros you might be thinking of. A digital employee is a role-based AI agent. It's essentially a virtual team member that can handle complex jobs from start to finish across a bunch of different systems, all with very little human supervision. Think of it less like a piece of software and more like a digital colleague with its own job title.
And this brings us to a huge, crucial shift in how we need to think about all this. That old, tired question, will AI take my job, was just way too short-sighted. The reality is so much more interesting. It's about a complete rewiring of work itself. We're talking about reshaping roles, skills, and the very idea of what a team looks like. You'd think this all means fewer jobs, right? Well, not exactly. The World Economic Forum actually projects a net gain of 78 million new jobs by 2030. And that's after you account for all the roles that get displaced. So this isn't a story about less, it's a story about change.
Now check out this breakdown, because this is where it gets really telling. You see 170 million new roles being created, which is way more than the 92 million that will be displaced. But here's the number you really need to pay attention to. Almost a quarter of all jobs will be fundamentally transformed. The message couldn't be clearer. The biggest risk isn't being replaced by AI, it's failing to learn how to work with AI.
And all of this change is building towards one of the most disruptive shifts of all, the end of management as we've known it for, well, the last 100 years. I know, that sounds like a provocative headline designed to get your attention, but it's not. The data we're seeing suggests this is an organizational inevitability. The very pyramid structure of our companies is being flattened by this new silicon workforce. Get this. Gartner predicts that AI is going to help get rid of over half of all current middle management positions. And it's not some mystery how this happens. It's because AI can now automate the core things a manager does: scheduling, reporting, checking on tasks, making that entire layer of supervision, frankly, redundant. So the key here is that the function is shifting. The role isn't just disappearing, it's evolving from a manager of people into an orchestrator of work. Your focus is no longer on monitoring tasks and directing human labor. It's about designing these complex, hybrid workflows that blend the best of what humans and digital workers can do.
Okay, so if the old roles and org charts are getting shredded, you're going to need a completely new operating model just to survive. There are new rules to this game.
So here it is. This is the new playbook. Survival in this global agent economy really boils down to 3 strategic imperatives. And let me be perfectly clear. These are not optional. This is the new cost of admission. First, governance. It has to be autonomous. You can't just unleash a digital workforce and hope for the best. You need systems that can manage the systems. We're talking about AI you can actually explain, audit trails that are totally automated, and compliance that's monitored in real time. Forrester even predicts half of the big ERP vendors will launch their own autonomous governance tools just to handle this complexity. Second, upskilling is no longer about climbing the career ladder, it's about staying economically relevant, period. The data shows that people with AI skills can demand wage premiums of up to 56% more than their peers in the exact same role. The financial incentive to adapt really couldn't be any louder. Which brings us to our final and maybe most critical point. When you have a shift this massive, this fundamental, the choice becomes incredibly stark. It's pretty much binary. This quote from Gloat just says it all. This transformation is no longer about trying to get a competitive edge. We are so far past that point.
This is now about basic organizational survival. Companies that fail to integrate a digital workforce won't just fall behind, they will simply fade into irrelevance.
And so we end exactly where we began. This is not an if or a when question anymore. The Silicon workforce is here. They've reported for duty. The only question left on the table is, are you ready for them?